I'm going to start this video with, you know, when you see the truck hooked up to the trailer, that something's going on. But I also wanted to show that I did one of my decals on a magnetic thing and I put it on the truck, and I think it looks pretty good. So picked up a new tractor. Pretty excited about this one. Real excited. Scout's really excited. 1970 U302 Propane, one of 25 built in 1970. Just got here from North Carolina, bought it at an auction down there. I want to thank Joe Pro for putting me onto it and deciding that he wasn't really the right time for him to buy it, or he would have bought it. My first propane tractor. Pretty excited to match this one up with my 70 gas U302. Very straight original, just a few things that need fixed. First, what I'm going to work on today is setting in the front end and setting the rear. It came from vegetable country down there. I'm going to guess they used it in the field for vegetables. The nose piece is very straight. The hood is very straight. It is missing the shield that goes underneath the tank here. This is bent just a little. It doesn't have a torque lever, which I just literally got this home, but I haven't even opened it up to see if there is a torque in it or if this was made without a torque. It has the original bottom radiator hose. This fender has a little bit of bend in it here, but that's an easy fix. It's got it's going to need a seat cushion for sure. The white on the wheels has turned rust red like they always do, so I'll have to paint those white. I'm going to try to polish this one up and leave it original paint, but we'll just see how it goes. The rear fender here at some point took a hit. I think I can straighten that too fairly easily. It has leaked a lot of something at some point in time. Right now I can't operate the 3-point because those hoses are toast. I'm going to guess this thing sat for a while. Coming across this side, the fender is a little bit of a bend there, but not bad. Again, that's easily fixed. Got the hood off, but again, it's very straight. The gauges, I think a couple of those are replacements, but I'm not 100% because I've never messed with the propane much before. I'm missing this piece here. I'll hopefully be able to find one of those someplace. Definitely has had some oil come out of the breather. I'm not sure why, but I'll look into that. It does not have the vapor line on it, and I'm not sure why. So it's starting on liquid. I'm only thinking because it was in the south, maybe they didn't worry about that. I don't know. I'm kind of, again, very new to a propane. So this is where I'm at with it. Overall, it's in good shape. I'm really happy to get this tractor because it is rare. The serial number, I know people are going to wonder about that, is ends in it's a 361-00047. So it was third to the last one made, because according to my serial numbers, the last one made was 50. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to work on setting it in so it'll fit in the barn a little bit better. My plan was to move the 69 302 out underneath one of the porch roofs here. And I put all the body work on yesterday, and now I have nothing at the ignition, so I'm going to guess I bumped a wire off someplace, so I got to figure that out. Always something. And then at some point get some straight fenders on that thing, but it's running pretty good. So that's where I'm at, and I'm going to set this thing in, hopefully. All right, in setting the rear wheels in, I found that the hubs were in too far. So you can kind of see where they were. I measured my other 70 because the wheels are set on that one where I want them. And I wire wheeled the shaft and then put never sees on it to move that out on. Got everything retightened down. Working on the other side right now. I just got the bolts loose, and now I got to wire wheel that part of the axle and put my Never Sees on it. So when working by yourself, you always run into unexpected things. So who knew coming out of North Carolina that the rear tires would be loaded? So it smells like antifreeze, thank goodness not calcium. And by the shape of the rims, that they're not all rotted out, I would say that it is antifreeze. But that one's still kind of draining. This one's draining out, and let me tell you, moving these things loaded by yourself, that wasn't a lot of fun. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna get this other side done, get these the tires aired back up, and then hopefully these front axles are not frozen, and those will slide right in. You know, this is me having a positive attitude that that'll just slip right in there and there won't be any issues. Unlike the 955, which I had to take the whole axle off and take it to a machine shop to get them to get that thing free. So we'll see what we have when we get the back end back together. Okay, so after a little bit of a pause, I'm back working at this. Got the one side out, pretty much slid right out, and feeling very lucky because the 955 was not like that. Got pulled it out, wire wheeled all along, all around it. Got it pretty clean on both the tie rod and on the axle itself. I used a Scotch-Brite pad and went around on the inside of the tube as much as I could just to smooth that out. Next thing I'm going to do is put Never Sees on the axle and on the tie rod before I slide it back in and get it set. I also just got done cleaning up the threads on the U-bolts there, and then I kind of cleaned up in Scotch-Brite the piece that goes through that locks everything in, just to make sure everything slides together, and I'll cover all that in Never Sees also. All right, I got her pretty well slathered up. I'm just going to slide it back in. Made sure that I hit it on the bottom real good, because that is not, that's where the rust is going to sit. Actually, if I go too far, forgot about that. Setting it in a lot narrower than where it was. So the tie rod's not going to, there. Anyway, you want to make sure you get the Never Sees on the bottom of that axle really well, because that's where your water is going to sit, and that's where it's going to rust and cause you a problem. And I only know these things because I've fought that 955 for a long time last winter to get it moved, and ended up having to pull the axle off it and take it to a machine shop to get it done. But when it was all said and done, that's where the bulk of the rust was on it, was on the bottom side. So I've got tie rod pretty well covered. Love Never Sees, it's always a mess. So I'm going to leave 2 holes showing, which is what I have found is a pretty good width for me and for my my 2-bottom plow. And there she's set. So I will put my Never Sees on the other parts and put those in, and then tighten everything back down, and then move to the other side, and hopefully it's as free as this one. I'll film taking that one apart. Hopefully it doesn't embarrass me by being stuck. All right, got the Never Sees on everything, and I'm hopefully not getting it all over the camera. You see, I've coated everything on there just to try to help prevent it from ever being an issue again. And now I've got Never Sees every place. Step across here, give it a couple taps. Then they're good. few bolts in. Should probably require a little bit of a tap. And they're on. So I'll put the lock washers and the bolts back on, put my bolt back through the tie rod, get it lined up, and then we'll move to the other side and I'll take that side apart. One thing I didn't count on in taking this tire off and on is that I'm going to have to do the bushings in this spindle. You can see that move back and forth there. It's not good, so I'm probably going to have to do, it seems a little loose at the bottom, upper and lower bushings that go around that spindle to hold that spindle in there more square. So that will be for another day. All right, probably against better judgment, I'm going to try to film me taking this apart. It's probably going to embarrass me, but it is what it is. I did put Angry Farmer on that, and it's obviously never probably been off there, or not for a long time. That's a 3/4. That uses a 3/4 to get that off. And we'll take off the U-bolts. Try not to block this too much. Alright, pull the U-bolts out. They're definitely a little rusty, that's why I cleaned those up. Just to make sure that if I ever have to do this again, which I hope I don't, it's not an issue. Same thing, that's got rust on it, so I cleaned it up, so hopefully it's not an issue. Let's see what the tie rod looks like. Not hitting it real hard, I'm just trying if I can work it loose here. Like I said, this side's probably going to embarrass me. And at that, let me just see if, yeah, the axle's loose. So as soon as I get the tie rod loose, the axle will slide right out. All right, took a little bit of heat. I just had to use a little MAP gas on the tube back here, tapped around on the tube, was able to get it out. It's not even rusted that bad, as you can see, but it doesn't take much on these, and they really stick. So now I've got that out. I can pull the axle out, hopefully. A little twisting and pulling usually works. The other side wasn't this hard. About ready to come. Catch my breath. That's some work. And that tie rod is still really hot. And there she is. So I can get the camera set right. You can see she's got rust around her, probably a little more on the bottom than the top. So I will wire wheel it and the tie rod. I will use Scotch-Brite inside the tube. Never sees everything, and clean everything up. Put it back together, and she looks a lot better, narrower. There were 5 holes showing when I started this. We're just gonna have 2. See, the front tire lines up pretty well in the middle of the back tire. This is the way I have my other 70 U302 set up, so I knew this was how I wanted this one to look. So that's where we're at. I ordered some parts today from Welters, talked to Doug at Riverdale on some parts. It's missing the vapor line, so hopefully I can find that someplace. Working on finding that hood piece there. Just little things along the line. So I'll keep you updated on my progress on this. All right, just got the other side finished up and set in. Figured I would show it to you. All skinnied up. I think it looks much better than when it was so wide. It will serve my purposes much better, fit on my trailers better. One thing I wanted to point out while I was messing with the front axles here is this axle, you notice it's got this extra support along the bottom of it. They did that on the later ones. On my 69, get over here where I can get a better angle. See, this is the older style. It does not have it, it's just the tube. So they beefed up the front ends at some point on these. You can see on the Jet, it's that's a 69. So just something that my other 70 302 has that also, kind of beefing it up and making it you know, just better, stronger. This tractor does have 7.5 16s on it, which are bigger than what probably would have come on it, which should have been 6 or 6.5 16s, which is also what I have on the 69 right now, just because I had an old set around here and the ones that were on it were junk. So it does make it set up higher. So I don't know, I kind of like the look, but there's not much clearance between the spindle in there. By the way, I do have to do the spindle bearings on this one also. So that's it for now, and I'll keep you up to date on how the progress continues on this 70 302 propane.